We take you live now to Hobart, where Greens immigration spokesman Senator Nick McKim is speaking to the media. Let's listen in.
A viable response in human terms, and also that in fact something has to be done for people on Manus Island and Nauru. So finally that admission from government, but there is still significant uncertainty for people on Manus Island and Nauru. We still don't know how many people will be covered by the deal with the United States. We don't know what the timeframes are in regards to that deal. So we have to make sure now that no one is left behind on Manus Island and Nauru, and that is the critical issue here, and it's the issue that neither Mr Turnbull nor Mr Dutton was able to give reassurances on today. How many people will this deal relate to? How many people will it give an opportunity to? And what do they intend to do with the people who presumably will not be covered by this agreement but will remain either on Manus Island or Nauru or both? I want to make one other comment finally. It's quite extraordinary today that the only bit of compassion we saw through the whole announcement was compassion from Prime Minister Turnbull to Scott Morrison and Peter Dutton. Well, we are going to show compassion to the people that really deserve it here, which are the people who've been incarcerated, brutalised, traumatised and tortured on Manus Island and Nauru. So to sum up, finally an admission that indefinite offshore detention is unacceptable, but still significant levels of uncertainty for people on Manus and Nauru, because we simply don't know how many people this agreement will capture and also what the timeframes are.
The government maintains that this is a one-off deal. Is that enough?
Well, it seems as if people will still be left to languish on Manus Island and Nauru, because if that wasn't the case, surely we would have heard about that today. So we want to see people out of those camps on Manus Island and Nauru, and as far as the Australian Greens position goes, the easiest, best and swiftest way to achieve that would be to bring them to Australia.
This was done under the Obama administration. Do you think it's going to go through with the Trump?
Well, look, time will tell, and that's certainly a concern. However, we need to understand now that it seems as if the agreement has been signed, and we want further information on this agreement. We want to know how many people it's going to apply to. We want to know the timeframes that will see people out of the camps on Manus and Nauru, and we want to know, and we want an assurance from government that no one will be left behind on Manus Island and Nauru.
Given that both major parties won't resettle people in Australia, isn't the US the next best option?
Well, look, there are plenty of countries that are signatories to the Refugee Convention that have really good resettlement services. Our policy has always been that the people should be brought on Manus and Nauru should be brought here to Australia, and that remains our policy.
What do you think about that admission that those who do not choose to go to the US will have a 20-year visa to stay in Nauru?
Yeah, well, look, this is once again an attempt to coerce people into agreeing to a particular outcome, and this has been a hallmark of the government's policy around people seeking asylum in Australia for a number of years now, under both Labor and Liberal, I might add. So, and that's why the Australian Greens have always held a principled and ethical position that people on Manus and Nauru should be brought here to Australia. And I'll make the point again. There's been no reassurance from either Mr Turnbull or Mr Dutton that this agreement will capture all of the people on Manus and Nauru, and so it appears as if there will still be some people left behind. And from our point of view, and from, I know, the point of view of millions of Australians, that's just not good enough, and we need to make sure that no one is left behind on Manus Island and Nauru.
In hindsight, was it wrong for the Greens to help scuttle Malaysia's solution under the deal?
No, not at all, and this is a question we continually get. There were significant problems with that proposal from the Labor government at the time, just as there have been very significant problems with the coalition's policies around people seeking asylum in Australia. Our policy has remained unchanged. We want to see better investment into the creation of safe and timely regional pathways so that people can apply to seek asylum in Australia without having to put their own lives and the lives of their families at risk at sea, and we believe that that can happen with the UNHCR playing an oversight role. That remains our view.
Do you think this deal, though, will increase people smugglers? This is some sort of announcement that will get them a one-way ticket to the US. Do you think this will increase people smugglers and those coming by boat?
Well, look, that's really a question you need to put to the Prime Minister, and I understand that he's made some comments about that today. I mean, what we are saying is let's, under the auspices of the UNHCR, let's invest money along with our partners in the Southeast Asian region into creating safe pathways with reasonable timeframes so that people can seek asylum without putting their lives at risk. Now, that's our policy, and we're here to speak to that. Questions around those other matters should go to the PM.
You've said that the lack of detail is concerning. Has the government given any indication of when those details might be?
Not to my knowledge, so we're just going to have to wait and see, but we'll be out pressing for more detail in the coming days. All right, thanks, guys.